take a look at the Seattle area. You can see at least 4 dots there. Where it's red, there's 1 unhealthy for sensitive groups.
Yeah, from Seattle southward through the South Sound, the red means unhealthy for all groups, not just for sensitive groups. So the unhealthy areas returned to Western Washington, which is different from what we were, hoping was going to happen, but also different than what we were originally forecasting. So what's been going on here, Darren?
We got a short break, and we had a short break for Thursday morning. So if you had a chance to get out on Thursday morning for the first half of the day, you had there were green dots on this map, and you had a chance to get out and feel like you could breathe in freely. But then we started to pull the smoke back in from the west, and we've got a couple of fires burning on Vancouver Island there. The arrows are showing you the direction the wind's coming in from at the mid-levels of the atmosphere. So we're pulling in more smoke from Vancouver.
Vancouver Island.
Yes, from Vancouver Island.
Yep, so we're basically surrounded by fire, so apparently it's, no matter what we do, we're going to be seeing smoky conditions. And over the next couple of days, through the weekend, and even through early next week, we are still expecting this northwesterly flow pattern. So even though some of the air is certainly fresh ocean air, the smoke is going to be picked up by that northwesterly flow and pushed back over western Washington. This is our satellite imagery right here. And what you're seeing right now is, this is just a high-resolution satellite. Let's see if I can put an arrow up right here. There's a couple of fires that are burning up along Vancouver Island right now. Some of this is cloud cover, but see this line that you see here? That is actually smoke coming from those wildfires. I notice a direction pushing right into western Washington.
It's unmistakable. Stay on that for 1 second,
Sure.
Ben. You can tell the difference there. The clouds are moving, they're above it, first of all. You can tell they're higher, and they're moving a little bit faster because the upper atmosphere winds are really pushing those clouds. But then as you look down at that one steady stream of smoke coming off the fire, the unfortunate aspect of it is the direction it's all getting pushed. And even though it's not directly at western Washington, that smoke disperses by the time it gets down to our latitude and then gets pulled on shore. I mean, for a couple of days, we were really looking forward to an onshore surge, right?
Yes.
The onshore winds, air from the west will help clear out the smoke, and that did happen. And that happened for the first part of Thursday.
For about a day and a half. We were in the green, we were in the clear, and it looked like things were going to be good, but then this fire on Vancouver Island has another flare-up, and more of that smoke gets pushed over us. One thing we do want to mention, too, is that if you have any friends or family that are going to be flying into SeaTac, in or out of SeaTac over the next couple hours, there's a ground delay that's occurring right now, thanks to low visibility from the smoky skies.
And that just happened. So you and I just finished the newscast. You were on at 6:30.
Yep.
I went on at 7.
Yes.
We finished those newscasts at 7:30, and just before we were about to sit down here and do this, they put out the announcement from SeaTac that they're delaying the flights. Now that happened on Sunday. It happened last week. And
a similar ground delay.
Yes, and as far as we know, and there are people who've worked in this newsroom for decades, none of them can ever remember a time where planes at SeaTac were getting delayed due to smoke. And now it's happened twice in less than a week.
And what's interesting, too, is these aren't fires from eastern Washington. This is a fire from British Columbia, but not up in the mountains north of Vancouver. It's actually straight west of Vancouver on Vancouver Island. So that's interesting stuff. So where do we go from here? Here is our forecast for smoke in and around the Seattle area. Certainly, once again, bad today, especially the latter part of the day. As we head into Saturday and Sunday, we're still keeping that northwesterly flow, but we're thinking the air might get at least a little bit better. We're hoping that a couple of weather systems that are moving through here that might carry a little bit of rain, not a lot, but a little bit, and that might help to disperse the smoke just a little bit more. And the flow turns a little bit more straight west to east on Monday, and that should help push the smoke a little further north up into...
That's like our one hope. If we can get it straight west to east, I mean, the Pacific itself is not going to catch on fire. So if we can get a direct westerly flow, then that's our one hope to really clear things. That's our best scenario. But here's the problem with that. We still have to get through September.
Yeah.
And we cannot sit here and go, well, we'll just hope for a straight westerly wind all the way through September. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So there's going to be times, maybe even many times, where the wind just does not work in our favor. And the fires are so numerous all around us, it really won't matter which direction it comes from. We're going to kind of be at the mercy of the change in the wind.
Unfortunately. Yeah. It's, well, Those of you who have lived here for a number of years know that there is wildfire season towards the end of summer. And a lot of cases like this, it seems that we have to wait for the heavy rains to arrive or to return in the later part of fall to put out these fires naturally. We might have to wait till then before we see the return of consistently clear air. Now, we might see some better air quality from time to time, like, again, early next week when we're expecting the wind to be a little bit more westerly. That should give us some fresher air briefly, but then we get back into that same weather pattern towards the end of next week. So, again, it might be a while before we see things kind of return to more the crystal clear sky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do want to mention, too, that while it is smoky here and temperatures have been a little bit on the cooler side as well, this is what we hit today for a high, 69 degrees. That's significant because it's the first time that we actually have been in the 60s through the entire day since late June, if you can imagine that. So it's been a while since we've seen temperatures this cool, and it looks like things are going to be even cooler as we head into the upcoming weekend. Here's a look at your high temperature map for the next couple of days. In the upper 60s again on Saturday. Near 70 on Sunday, not much of a warm-up, but then notice Monday and Tuesday we start to warm things up again. Tuesday will probably be the warmest day through the extended, which upper 70s, that will feel pretty warm. That's our sunniest day as well, and then we cool off again as we head into late next week. So, yeah. What are your thoughts? I mean, you've been in the Sacramento area for a number of years.
Yeah.
You guys probably had to deal with wildfire smoke
Yes.
a lot more than Western Washington.
More often, but it was never as bad as the experience we've had here in the last week,
Really?
where we had prolonged periods for several hours at a time where the air quality was unhealthy, and there were times where it was reading very unhealthy. And we've had so many stories, whether it's in the local media or in the national media, where they talk about Seattle and Portland have the worst air quality now of any of the major cities across the globe. And for us, while it is temporary, whereas a lot of those other cities that make that list live with it for long durations, even though it was temporary, it was still significant.
Yeah.
And those were levels which, in my 7 years I spent down in Northern California, I never had to live with smoke of that high of concentration coming into Sacramento.
Or have you seen ash falling from the sky?
We have gotten ash.
You have gotten ash.
We have gotten ash, and that was the interesting thing, because on the day when the ash was falling, that didn't necessarily coincide with when the air quality sensors topped out at their worst. So they're usually going to go hand in hand, but it's not lockstep like that.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, and just to kind of, for those of you who might just be joining us for the first time, we're still talking about bad air quality due to wildfire smoke. I want to see if I can bring this map up. Let's see if it loads for me this time. And there we go. This is a current map of air quality over Washington. These are recent reports, and notice the yellows and the oranges and the reds that have crept back into Western Washington, the red meaning unhealthy for all of us. That includes Seattle, the Kitsap Peninsula, Pierce County, Thurston County, all the way over the South Sound. This is that smoke that's returning to Western Washington, and it's not due to wildfires off to our east. It's actually due to wildfires due to our northwesterly winds. We were thinking it was going to give us fresher air. It did briefly, but now we're seeing that wildfire smoke come in from Vancouver Island, some large wildfires up there. So this is kind of what we might have to deal with over the next couple of days. It probably won't be as bad as what it was earlier this week, but certainly noticeable. You can certainly see the smoky skies over SeaTac Airport. You can certainly see the smoky skies through downtown Seattle as well.
Notice the sun just set.
Yeah, sun setting, probably behind some clouds, but probably some smoke mixed in there as well. And notice you cannot see to the other side of Elliott Bay. So that's where we're going to leave you. Any parting thoughts?
I'm just thinking back to Thursday morning when the sensors were green.
Isn't
I
that
opened
nice?
the windows and I put the fan in the window too to blow some of the air in. And it didn't take long because by late afternoon, early evening yesterday, the sensors were already dropping.
Yeah.
So
Hope you enjoyed your day and a quarter of fresh air.
I think with light rain for Saturday and Sunday, some of that rain will hopefully be able to scour some of this out.
Yeah.
And that's what rain usually does. I mean, it builds on that stuff that's in the atmosphere, and we might even get a little more rain because there's so much of this smoke in the sky that kind of helps produce a little more rain.
Yeah,
We're not going to get a lot of rain, though, but we might kind of squeegee some of the smoke out of the air for Saturday and Sunday.
Anything would help at this point.